Hello, SC Whitmore School students. This is Mr. Cannon, and I'm going to be introducing our first unit in U.S. history, and that is the unit on the 13 English colonies. What we're going to be looking at in the next few lessons is how these colonies divide into distinct regions. Now, the regions in the lessons actually divide three ways. We have the New England colonies, which are up at the very top there in the pink. That would be New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Then we got the middle colonies, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware. And then we got the southern colonies, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Now, obviously, these things have changed today. No one would consider Maryland the South today, but back then it was considered a southern colony. We're really just for our project that we're going to do in this unit, which I'm also going to be introducing in this lesson. Our project, we're just going to divide the regions into North and South. So even though in the lessons it's going to talk about the New England, Middle, and Southern colonies, for the project, we're just going to divide them into North and South. We're going to move those middle colonies to the north. So we're going to put New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware with those New England colonies up there. And our project is really going to focus on how these regions were distinct and different and compared to one another. So let's talk about that right now. So our unit skill for this project is going to be comparison. So every unit that you do in U.S. history is going to have a project with it, and it's going to cover a certain skill that is going to be tested on the end of course examination. And for this particular unit, we're doing the skill of comparison. So we're actually going to be comparing and contrasting the northern colonies with the southern colonies. Now, what that means in comparing at a very basic level is just describing what something is like. So for instance, in these Christmas ornaments here, we have two very different Christmas ornaments. We've got a red one with gold stripes, and we've got a blue one with blue stripes. At the very base level, at the very bottom level, if all I do is describe them, I have compared them. I've said that one is red and gold and the other is blue. I talked about stripes, but that's a very minimal level of comparing. What we want to do is we want to take it a step further. We want to go much deeper in our skill of comparison. And what that means is we want to dig into why is one red and gold and the other blue. Maybe if we do research, we find out that the family who put these ornaments up actually made these ornaments. And the person who created the red and gold one, he likes red and gold because it goes back to something in his childhood that is familiar to him. So he created a red and gold ornament. And then the woman who created the blue ornament, she created blue because blue's her favorite color. And it's her favorite color because of something that goes back in her history or something about her personality. And then we can even go further than that and look at, well, now that we have a red and gold ornament and we know why we have red and gold and we know why we have blue, where are these ornaments going on the tree? So because it's red and gold, we're going to put it a certain place on the tree. And because this one's blue, we're going to put it at a certain place on the tree. And that all of that involves comparison, the skill of comparison. So comparison goes well beyond just describing what the two ornaments look like. The same thing is going to be true in history. When we do a comparison in history, we're going to dig much deeper and we're going to look at why things are the way they are and what happened because something is like it is. What ended up happening in history because of that. And so we're going to talk about that in relation to our project. So our project in this unit is going to be a comparison project. Obviously, we talked about comparison. The way you're going to do this is through creating a poster or a journal or a blog or a commercial. If you have something else you would like to do to show your work, you can certainly run that by me or your teacher, and we may approve that. But these are the four options I'm giving you for this project that I could think of. Now, on a poster, it could be a physical poster that you go to the store and buy. They have different sizes of posters. And back when I was in school, that's how we did this. We did a poster project. You go buy a poster, and then you'd use colored pencils or markers, and you'd write on that poster. You can do it that way. Or you can do a virtual poster, a digital poster, a poster using any kind of computer program you would like to use. There's not a specific one I want you to use. You can use whatever you want. Or you could do a journal. A journal would be where you're writing as if you were in that time period. You could be a time traveler, or you could just be somebody who lived in that time period. But in your journal, you need to be able to move from one region to another because you're going to have to compare and contrast those regions. You could do a blog as if you are blogging during that time period. Obviously, that would be more of a time traveler thing. But you could do a blog where you compare and contrast the two regions. Or you could do a commercial. That may be the most difficult one to do, but some people really like to do video. So if you wanted to do a video of a commercial where you are trying to get people to come to the northern region of colonial America, you would in your commercial need to describe that region, but you'd also need to contrast it with the southern region and why you don't want to go there. Same thing is true if you do the opposite. If you want them to come to the southern region, then amplify those things and talk about how it contrasts with the northern region. Either way, the required information is listed in the 6 different points there. This is what I'm really interested in. Whatever form you take, whatever is good for you, I'm fine with that. What I'm really interested in is that you have this required information. What I've tried to do is tell you what you need in there, but also give you a quick key question to answer. If you answer the key question, you will have done that part of the project. So let's just go through these really quickly. Number 1, describe the geography of the two regions. Now, a key question to ask there is, how did the geography of each region affect the economies that developed in that region? So in other words, the geography of the South, the land is going to be a certain way, and you can actually talk about climate here as well. Because of the land and the climate, a certain kind of economy is going to develop in the South. A different kind of economy is going to develop in the North because of their geography and climate. So answer that key question as you describe that geography. Second, explain the reasons each region was founded. Virginia and South Carolina, North Carolina, it was just Carolina to begin with, but Virginia, Carolina, Georgia are going to be established for very different reasons than Massachusetts. Massachusetts is mainly for religious freedom. Carolina and Virginia and Georgia mainly to make money for England. So the key question there is, how did the reason for founding impact how that region viewed the mother country, England? The southern region is going to be closer to England than the northern region. And so you're going to answer that question by looking at the reason that the region was founded. 3, analyze the role of religion in each region. Religion was important in all the colonies, but it seemed to be more important in one region than the other. And why was that the case? Answer that key question. Why was one region more, quote, religious than the other, even though religion was important everywhere? 4, evaluate the relationship with Native Americans in each region. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert here. It wasn't good anywhere. But when you answer this key question, what was the source of the conflicts between colonists and Native Americans? It was a little bit different depending on the region you were in. 5, describe the role of mercantilism and triangular trade in each region. You're going to learn about mercantilism and triangular trade in this unit. As you learn about it, answer the key question for the project. How did mercantilism impact each region's relationship with England? And then last, describe slavery and indentured servitude in each region. The key question there is, how did slavery develop in each region, and why did it grow more in one region than the other? That's going to be a pretty simple thing to answer once you learn about the geography and climate of each region. Now, your project, you must use at least 2 outside sources. You can use the lessons, obviously, the videos and the lessons, but you got to use at least 2 outside sources as research for the assignment. When you're ready to submit it, you just go into the project lesson, and there will be a way for you to submit it. If you use Google Docs, I would say the easiest way to submit that would be to change that Google Doc to a Word document or a PDF. Probably a PDF is the easiest way. So you can use Google Docs definitely, but just change it to a PDF and then you can submit it into the lesson. Now, I'm explaining the project to you, but you're not going to actually see this project lesson again until the very end of the unit. So at the very end of the unit, when you get through all the lessons and you take the unit test, after that, you'll see this project. You can go ahead and be working on that along up until that point, but you will have time. It will give you time in that lesson to work on this project and complete this project. But I just want to let you know this is where you will see this again. So you're seeing this here, obviously, at the very beginning of the unit, and then you're going to see the same thing at the very end of the unit. Without the video, though, uh, you'll just see the rubric and the project description. Speaking of rubrics, let's talk about this specific rubric. So when you look at how you're going to get 100 points, you can see there what you have to do to go from a 60 to 100. To get a 60, the basic stuff you have to do is identify similar and different characteristics in each region of colonial America. So you're going to give me specific similarities and differences about the northern region of colonial America and the southern region of colonial America. But if that's all you do, then 60 will be what you get on the assignment. If you want to get 100 on the project, here's how you do it. You have to compare how multiple characteristics or perspectives impacted historical events over time, place, and culture in the colonies. Now, what that means is you're going to compare how let's talk about the geography. How did the geography of the North and the South impact the characteristics of the North and South over time? How did that develop? How did a culture develop because of that geography? How did the economy develop because of that geography? So in other words, you're going further than just talking about the similarities and differences. You're actually comparing it. Analyze the reasons for similarities and differences in the colonies. So why was religion different in the North than in the South? You got to actually understand, to give reasons, you got to analyze the reasons for similarities and differences. You have to actually give a reason. That's what analyzing is. It's not just saying, well, the northern religion was like this and the southern religion was like that. It's actually giving the reason it was like that. You have to draw conclusions about how the different characteristics contributed to the historical developments in the colonies. So how did slavery grow in the South? Well, you got to draw conclusions about how that happened. So the conclusion is, if when you research the South, you're going to see that the plantation system grew. So you draw a conclusion that slavery is going to grow because of the plantation system. But you actually have to discuss that in the project. And then last, provide evidence from multiple sources. So to get 100, you can't just list this stuff or talk about this stuff. You actually have to provide evidence from multiple sources. That's why I said you had to have at least 2 sources. You can have more than 2, but you got to have at least 2. And then you can see there, anything less than 100, that's how you get a 90, which would be an A, how you get a 75, which would be a C, and then all the way down to 60. If you have any questions about this rubric, or you have any questions about the assignment now, or when you get to the end of the unit, please feel free to reach out to your teacher. That could be me, Mr. Cannon, or it could be another teacher at our school. But whoever your teacher is, please reach out to them if you have any questions about anything to do with the project. I know you're going to do a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.